Welcome to the Legacy Speaker Show. I am your host, Jasmine Haley. And for today's episode, we have Bonnie. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Jasmine. I'm so excited to be here chatting with you today. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, I was on her podcast. She does amazing work. And it just made so much sense to bring her on here so that she can share her expertise. So let me tell you a little bit about Bonnie. Bonnie Bakhtiari is a brand strategist and designer for creative entrepreneurs, as well as a coach for fellow graphic brand and web designers. She specializes in crafting high converting, y'all, listen to that, strategic brands for her custom design clients. And she currently teaches fellow designers how to generate consistent income and connect with their ideal clients on repeat through the Brand Strategy School, her signature program for designers. She's based in beautiful Waco, Texas, with her husband of almost 10 years and their two rambunctious golden retrievers, Boone and Quinn. Man, y'all, I know that you cannot wait to dive in because one of the key parts of being a speaker is learning how to amplify our brand. And we can do that by our brand design. And so this is something that when we're looking to position ourselves, when we're looking to get more eyes on the work that we do, our brand speaks a lot towards what kind of experience our audiences will be able to receive. So I would love to know what kind of helped you choose this lane of expertise in the current work that you do now.
Absolutely. The reason why I'm so passionate about brand design and strategy is because I've seen the potential that it has to consistently transform the businesses of everyone that I work with. I see coaches, I see educators, I see speakers, I see event planners, those in the wedding industry, photographers. When we walk through a process like this, where we focus on your positioning, on your messaging, on the vision and the values behind your brand, and then we allow that to influence the actual design, what your ideal clients are seeing, then that really changes everything. And so in the 10 years that I've been doing this, I've just seen over and over again how this can not only help you as a business owner, as a speaker, to position yourself in the way that you want to be perceived so that you can connect with the types of speaking opportunities that really resonate with you, that you feel most equipped to serve. And then that helps you not only show up and serve those audiences and have this incredible impact, but it also ensures that you are able to generate the kind of revenue that you want to and that you deserve to from the work that you do as a speaker and an expert.
Oh, I love that so much, Bonnie. Oh, that's so good. What would you say though, you've seen it from your where you are seated, right?
Right, right.
This is something that you live and breathe every single day. But there are barriers or blocks for some of us to get to a place of seeing its importance. What would you say are some of the myths that we tell ourselves when it comes to branding design, or what we may think it is, but it actually really isn't?
I would say that where I see a lot of people initially getting kind of tripped up is focusing on the visuals before thinking about the strategy. So, what I mean by that is it's so easy for us to get excited. And I get it. Like, as a designer, I love getting to, create gorgeous color palettes and play around with like design elements and type and all the things. But I think that where I see a lot of people getting stuck is they think that their brand is their logo, is their website, is maybe their speaker deck. But actually, what your brand is the foundation behind that, your values, your vision, your mission, the why behind you do what you do. It's all of that information that then helps you to understand how you can show up, who your ideal clients are. And with that, then you can like go out and change lives. You can go out and have this amazing impact from the stage. And so, with all of that being said, it's easy for a lot of us when we're starting out, or even when maybe you're in a pivot, you're wanting to really hone in on your expertise and your visibility as a speaker. it's easy to think that, okay, I know all of this stuff internally. That's enough. I'm going to go out and I'm going to hire a designer who can just create a pretty logo for me, or who can put together, this gorgeous website for me. But I want to encourage you to make sure that you're either working with someone who builds some strategy work into their process, or that you kind of do that homework on your own and you spend some time getting really introspective, getting kind of cozy with yourself, and
Mhm.
asking yourself more about what your brand stands for. Because I know that it might not seem super intuitive, but actually, all of that information that really goes into your strategy influences the design choices that you or a designer will make in the future. So that's where, if you understand who you're trying to reach, like who your ideal clients are, or where these ideal speaking opportunities exist for you,
Mhm.
then that can help your designer and your strategist know, okay, if I use color psychology, I can then create this palette that shares this vibe, that communicates these emotions, that sets the tone for this aesthetic that's going to resonate with the right kinds of people. So the strategy and the design aren't these like separate pieces. The way that I see it, it's actually very intertwined. And I know that for a lot of people, especially if you're just getting started, working with someone at this high level where it's kind of like this all done for you kind of strategy and design process, it might not be accessible. And that's okay. I don't want you to get stuck with this. Where I get a little frustrated sometimes with the branding industry is I don't want us to keep perpetuating this myth that you have to have custom everything in order to be successful, because you don't. There's
Yeah.
actually I'm coming from this with 10 years of experience. And so this might be a little like, brand heresy to some folks, but the way that I feel about it, I really do, is that
Yes.
thoughtfully, simply DIY design, when it's done well, can serve you so well, so that you do not hold yourself back from the impact that you can have. You can get started with a simple website template that's easy for you to update, so you can get your message up there. You can then send that to people when you're applying to speak at their events, their conferences, or their workshops. And that then can help you get out on that stage, get in front of these audiences, make that money. And then when you're at a place where it feels accessible for you, where it feels comfortable, where it's not a stress for you, then you can invest in kind of the whole shebang with your dream strategist and designer. But kind of going back to what I was originally saying, you don't have to overcomplicate it, and you absolutely can set the tone for success for yourself, starting with that strategy, and then starting to get into the design components.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, oh, you said so much. But I really, really want to emphasize to the listeners is there's foundational work that we all need to put in if we're trying to build sustainability in our business or brand. And I love the fact that you stated there are going to be stages of your evolution. And maybe at the beginning stage, you can do a DIY template, which is why even in my program, we've had our designer create DIY templates for everything underneath the sun, because we don't want you to feel like you need to have all of the shebang to go out there. However, at some point in time of your speaker journey, you do need to get serious about what it is that you represent. And the only thing that will enable you to do that is creating some of that white space for you to get clear on the vision, on your mission, what your topic is, who's the audience that you serve. And I think that was so critical for all of us to hear. I certainly couldn't afford a whole brand redesign, but I also saw where I was focusing too much on a logo when really it's about the message that I'm sharing and creating a signature talk. And then and only then can we look at other ways in which we can amplify our brand. But it does require strategy. It's simply not just a color. It's not something that should be taken lightly. And it's the same aspect in all of the stages of business, that we need to pay more close attention to the foundational elements of it and not be in such a rush to skip over that, because the intentionality is affected, which then could prevent us from really amplifying and growing our brand even further.
Absolutely. And something that you said that I so resonate with is this concept of longevity in your brand and longevity in your business.
Yeah.
And doing some of this kind of foundational deep work where you're looking internally and you're getting introspective and you're asking yourself these questions about, what do I want my brand to stand for? And why do I want to be a speaker? Why do I do this work that I do? Why am I so passionate about this as my message? And when you that it takes time, and it's not necessarily glamorous, and it's not, I get it, we're all busy. And so it might not be something that there's just this white space already waiting for you on the calendar. And so it does take this discipline to say, I am investing in myself and I'm investing in the long-term success of this brand that I'm building. So I'm going to put 30 minutes on the calendar. I'm going to put, an hour here, 15 minutes there. I'm going to give myself whatever time is available to you, even if it takes multiple increments of time. But by doing that, you're then setting yourself up for that longevity that you were just talking about, Jasmine. And like, that is so powerful, because where we see and where I see brands have the most success is where they are, committed right off the bat to being so focused about understanding who they are, what they do, who they serve, and the transformation that that service, that message offers. And yeah, the logos, the websites, the pitch decks, all of those things are beautiful. They're really fun to send out. They can make you feel so polished and like such a total pro. But more than any asset you have, the quality of your message, the quality of the vision and values behind your brand, that is going to be what makes the difference. That's going to be what inspires the connection. The design, yes, it's important, but when we think about actually how brands operate, we're connecting with people, we're connecting with real living, breathing humans. And
Yeah.
so, yes, the design can be a really powerful part of that. We can use things like color psychology and certain elements of design that communicate a certain message, evoke certain emotions. But if we put all that to the side, underneath that, there's this opportunity to have a relationship with these incredible event coordinators and the speaking opportunities and audiences that you are going to be out in front of. And so thinking about the people more than how your website's going to look, or something like that, I think that can help us also stay kind of focused about the long term of why we're doing this, who it is for, and the impact that we then can have.
Yes, yes. And I do want to segue into another aspect of it, because I feel that at some point, for some of our higher multi six figure listeners and seven figure listeners, we want you to get out of DIY. It's time to not do that no more. Okay. It's time to elevate the brand design, right? With the color psychology and things of that nature, because some of those bigger stages that you may be ready for, you've done all of the hard work of figuring out who it is that you serve. You have a team, you have all of these things, but now your brand needs to be in alignment with where you're going,
Mm-hmm.
not where you used to be, but
Mm-hmm.
actually where you're going. So I want to speak towards that, of now getting to that place, and why it's necessary for them to look at their brand design even further, so that more eyes, especially some of those larger stages, are able to see their market value because of how their brand is designed.
Right. Absolutely. And I love that you made this point, because there is, like we were talking about earlier, there are these stages to your brand's evolution in a sense. And so when you're just getting started, the DIY stage of things, it works. It can serve you really well. It can be such a great way to honor your resources, your time, your energy.
Mhm.
But once you reach that point where you are landing consistent speaking gigs, where you are landing consistently the kinds of opportunities that you want, you are generating the kind of revenue that works for you, and you in some cases have people who can support you in that business that you've built, it's time to start looking at your visual identity and ask yourself, is this in line with the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years with the vision that I have for how I'm going to scale this? Is this something that is continually working for me? Or maybe when I reach out about, pitching myself to a conference with these bigger partners or with these bigger events, am I getting passed over for other people? And if so, why is that? In some cases, it's the visuals, because if we think about these really big organizations, these bigger brands, these conferences, and these opportunities, they are busy people. There are so many people involved in executing these events. And so the people who are actually reviewing speaker applications, the people who are actually taking the time to look through that, they're only giving you a couple of seconds, if that. And so when they're looking through the application that you filled out, they're looking through, if they even get to like your speaker deck or anything like that, then that is a visual piece that can quickly tell them, yes, this person is a pro. They know exactly what they're talking about. They are definitely someone that we should be considering. I'm intrigued. I want to learn more. Versus, oh, I don't think that they're quite at this point yet where they would be a good fit for our audience. Because at the end of the day, these people are making decisions about what will serve their audiences well, and design it at this level can be make or break. And I'm not saying that to be sensational or to scare or pressure anyone into making changes, but it is kind of this just honest conversation that I think we need to have about when it's possible to take your business to these next levels. Maybe you're making 6 figures and you want multi 6 figures. Maybe you're multi 6 figures and you want 7 and multi 7 figures. That is absolutely within your reach, but it's important that you have the right systems and the right support in place in order for you to do that. And design, especially within your brand and that visual identity that you're building, is actually an asset for your business that supports you on that journey to generating the kind of revenue and the kind of impact that you want.
Yeah, you better preach. You better preach, Bonnie. Okay. I love that. It actually reminds me, one of our attendees of our workshop stated that they were contacted by a major social media platform, and they wanted to have that person speak a reel. They didn't want to see a deck. They didn't want to see a media kit. They didn't want to see they didn't want to see the website, nothing. They asked for a speaker reel, and this person wasn't prepared. And what happened was they put together something and they sent it over, and it wasn't professionally done, right? And they didn't hear anything after. And that to me hurts my heart, because specifically I work with women, I work with underrepresented groups, and to get an opportunity like that is a chance of a lifetime. And when we're not prepared for that, it could possibly eliminate you ever working with some of these larger corporations, right? And a lot of the people that I work with are legacy driven, they're heart driven. This is soul work that they're doing. I want y'all to really take a moment and just think about it. All of the people that you could potentially help if someone gave you the platform to do so. And the only thing standing in your way is an elevated brand design. So that, unfortunately, we are dealing with the unconscious mind that has biases. That's the reality. And yeah, we want to preach, oh, well, everyone should be heart level. We want to preach all of that. But that's not the reality of the people that are selecting speakers for some of these larger events. The reality is they pay attention to brand design. They pay attention to how you're positioning yourself. So I love what you said, because this is an honest, you said this is not sensationalism. This is an honest conversation on how much importance are you placing on the visual aspects. You said the visual identity, which I love. What a powerful word choice. There's an identity that speaks for us without us even saying a word. And that is a part that we hope that by the conclusion of this, that you understand, whether you're in the starting phase, right? You can DIY it, but there will come a point where you cannot. And you have to get to a point of knowing that that investment is worth it. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity.
Absolutely. And, from my perspective, when I see people reaching that point where they're kind of wondering, okay, the DIY brand that I built, it served me for this season, but I'm kind of getting to this point where I don't actually know if this is working for me anymore. Some kind of signs that you might be able to recognize if you're in that space is if you're getting passed over for opportunities that you confidently feel you should be, getting those opportunities. If you are not being taken seriously, if when you send something out and you're feeling a little unsure, a little embarrassed, a little intimidated or insecure, the way that you feel about the materials that you're sharing, that absolutely is a sign that that's not serving you anymore. That it did for however many months, however many years, and we are so grateful for that. But now this is just creating the opportunity for you to see, ooh, there's possibility here. This is something that worked for me. It's not working for me so much anymore. And it is in the best interest of my message, my impact, and the legacy that I can have for me to outsource this. So your precious time, your precious energy, your brain power is not going to something that is not within your zone of genius. And that, as a designer and strategist, it's actually one of my low-key favorite things about what I get to do is I get to take these things away from my clients. I pull this off of their plates so they don't have to worry about it. They're not stressing over it. They get to go and do the incredible work they do, work with their clients, show up, absolutely kill it on stage, and then come back and have concepts waiting for them in their inbox, or have a call with me so we can talk through more things and really nail down that strategy. So what I'm saying is that when we're thinking about the heart aspect of it, when we're thinking about the values that we want to reflect, there are so many ways to reflect those values visually through that identity, through that brand. And so that is also a benefit of partnering with someone when you get to a point where that's doable for you and that's something that actually would serve you well at that level. A good designer is going to be able to hear the heart behind your work, understand your value for legacy, understand this mission that you're on, and then create a visual representation of that so you can keep going out there and being wholeheartedly all of who you are, and that authenticity can shine through and you are able to command the attention that you're wanting to command and that you deserve to command using these assets that were custom built for you.
Yes, I just want to do a shimmy. That's what I feel like on the inside, okay?
I love it.
So good. So good, Bonnie. I just, first of all, I just want to thank you for just coming with such an open heart and sharing such valuable gems today, because this is the type of talk we don't hear often. And it's the reality of what we all face. And at the end of the day, our mission is to get at least 1,000 professionals, which I already know we're going to exceed that. We've just reached 100 this year, but it's just to get these professionals who are underestimated, underrepresented for some of us, and get them to share their voice and to do so in a beautiful way. And a part of that is brand design. We have to consider that. So I want you to share with everyone how they can stay contacted with you to learn more about the work that you do.
Absolutely. Well, you can find everything about me, all kinds of resources over on my blog through my website, which is bisforbonniedesign.com. If you are on Instagram, that's where I hang out most often. So you can connect with me at Bonnie Joy Marie. And if you've been tuning in today and you've been starting to wonder, like, hey, is my brand actually doing that heavy lifting for me? Is it actually serving me well? I have a quick, free, fun quiz that I've created that you can access on my website. It's bsforbonniedesign.com/expert-brand-quiz. And that is going to be basically the self-assessment that walks you through like 4 or 5 really quick questions that just helps you figure out, is my brand serving me? Is it positioning me like a pro so that I can get these opportunities, so I can show up on these stages and I can have that impact that I'm dreaming about? And then based on your results, I'm going to be showing up in your inbox with some personalized recommendations on what next steps could serve you well.
Yes, y'all better take advantage of that. Okay, that sounds juicy. Well, thank you, Bonnie, for showing up today and being on the show and just serving us in such a beautiful way.
Thank you so much for having me, Jasmine. This is, I mean, honestly, such a great conversation to have. I'm hopeful that it's just going to leave folks feeling encouraged, feeling, just like their brains are going to be percolating with all these ideas of how they can just go out there and have more impact, because those voices are so valuable. They're so needed in our world. And I'm just grateful that you've created this space where we can have these conversations.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. All right, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I just feel like so inspired. And it has actually started me through the process of thinking, what else can we do to help elevate the powerful work that we're doing every single day, which is to help each of you amplify your voice, amplify your message, and get to a place where you can build sustainable income through speaking. If you know you're in the process of working on your brand design, go ahead and check out Bonnie. She is amazing. And if you have found value in our topic today, please go to your favorite podcast app and submit a review. Let other people know that this has provided a great resource for you as you're building out your speaking career. Here at the Legacy Scalar Consulting Firm, we love helping each of you. You can find out more information at jasminehaley.com, and I'll see you at the next episode.